I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Oops, the podcast. That's right, Francis. I'm calling it right out of the gate. A wonderful episode.
I have a good feeling about this
of Oops,
one.
the podcast. How you doing, Francis?
Feeling like we're on top of our game.
On top of the world, baby.
Once again, welcome to all of our new listeners. They were just, yes, that people have found this, man. This is the not so secret, wonderful surprise podcast right now.
Dude, absolutely. Shoot us a review on the podcast app or whatever.
Yeah.
Anything.
Tell your
help
friends.
us.
Anything helps too. You know, it's great to have all these new people, but that isn't to say that we don't want you to keep spreading the word.
And that we don't appreciate our OG listeners as well.
That's
we
it.
Love you all.
That's it.
What's popping, bro?
Well, I have, I don't know. I have some things. I want to share an interesting message that I received from a young listener of ours.
Love it.
I think we might as well dive right into this.
Cool.
This came from Rob, and he said, what advice would you give to a young person graduating high school? And I said, are you heading off to college or off to work? And he said, just about everyone in my class is going to college, but I found this 4-year apprenticeship to become an electrician. I've always loved working with my hands, so I think this will be perfect for me. It's in my hometown, so I can still live at home and save money for when I can move out. But I'm not sure about all the life stuff, like making new friends and self-discovery kinds of things. Now, I think we scratch the surface of this indirectly quite often on this podcast.
Yeah, I agree.
If
you want to take a crack
no,
at it
you
first.
lead us off. What would you tell this kid?
I mean, listen, I just really feel like in some capacity, leaving the nest during those years is a really helpful thing. That doesn't have to mean college. College happens to be a convenient way to do it. But like the things that he's concerned about, all of those are answered by going away.
Yeah.
And that could mean whatever. You could go and again join the Peace Corps or fucking
Military.
backpack around, join the military, do whatever. But just sticking around and saving money and waiting for the day where you're going to move. That like doesn't usually work out.
Chris, would you be willing to weigh in on this? Chris has been living at home to save money for how many years since college?
Well, I was away for a year, so like 2 years.
Past 2 years.
But you went away to college, right?
Yeah. I was away.
Yeah, you went away to college, right? So this kid's 18. But I still think it bears relevance. So, what would you say about your experience living at home and now on the eve of finding your own home and moving out for the first time in multiple years? How do you feel?
Can I think about this for a second?
You can think about it.
I wasn't ready for this.
Sorry, we put you on the spot.
No,
yeah, think about it.
Come back to me.
Okay.
Look, just know that if this ever happens again, you better be ready with an answer.
Jeez, you gotta let me know.
Hey man, this
before.
podcast moves fast.
Let's
buddy.
go, Chris. Wake up,
Snappy,
buddy.
Keep
That's
up
funny.
or I don't know what the saying is.
Now listen, if this guy, it sounds like he knows what he wants to do, which is great. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome that you know what you want to do.
Yeah. But dude, sounding like you know what you want to do and thinking you know what you want to do versus actually doing the thing and realizing that you were right and it is what you wanted to do are
That's
two
true.
very different things.
Absolutely.
I would say that everything at 18 is a guess.
True, unless you're like that rare exception of, I always knew, but you can only say that once you've done it for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
But having said that, to your point, give it a shot. It's not etched in stone that this is what you have to do forever. I think that mentality is potentially detrimental as well. This like, okay, I've decided today I'm an electrician and I will be an electrician no matter what forever. You know what I mean? Like you need to decide on the job or on the fly once you're doing it if you want to keep doing it.
Yes, I agree with that. I have said this before on the pod, I think, but my advice is similar to that, which is when you're 18, 19, all the way up till you're 25, 27, whatever it is, don't be afraid to break things down and start from scratch.
Yeah.
because this is the only time in your life where you have the luxury of that.
It gets harder and harder.
And I remember when I was 23, 24, I left a job that I had been at for only, 10 months. And this guy that I worked with that I did not get along with very well wrote me a note, a handwritten note that he left on my desk to sort of say goodbye. Everyone else said goodbye, wished me well. And he wrote me this note where he said something like, if I've learned anything in life, it's that you should honor your commitments, and only working at a job for less than a year is a glaring failure. I don't know if he used the word failure, but it looks bad on a resume, and it's a hard thing to explain away. And he made these very unhappy, mean comments to me in a note.
Is he older?
I think he was a couple years older. His name was Will. He was
What
a
a
pretty
putz.
unhappy guy. I always tried to be nice to him, and he was one of those people who did not want to be made happy.
Mm.
Yeah.
What a weird parting message. Jesus.
Yeah. But what I will say is that, at least in my case, never once after that did I apply for a job where a single person was like, why did you only work at this place for 10 months?
Yeah.
It never fucking came up.
Right.
It never came up. They never said, like, why didn't that work out? People say, well, you should stay at a job for 2 years. That may be true in a very specific field. It may be true in finance, right? Where if you're a trader or you're a banker, you should stay at your firm for 2 years minimum and then go on to the next thing. But man, my parents told me that their 20s was a decade of professional experimentation. My dad used it almost as a process of elimination, failing his way through jobs, or not failing his way, but trying out different jobs before he finally found the one that suited him.
Right.
And I had so many jobs, and I completely subscribe to that theory. It doesn't need to be this linear connected trail of
Totally. And if you didn't do a good job, it doesn't make you bad.
yeah.
Like if one thing you happen to not excel at, that's just valuable information. You now know you don't like that, or that you're not good at that.
Exactly.
And like you said, process of elimination is a wonderful way to think about it. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like that. Give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
The worst thing that can happen is you realize that you were correct.
Yeah.
And now you can mark that off and get closer to what you really want.
And not to mention, what's you end up losing the job. You don't have any money. You go back home, you live with your parents, or you sleep on a buddy's floor or something. That's not crippling in your early 20s, in your mid 20s. When you're 30, when you're 32, I can't sleep on the floor. I couldn't live with my parents at this age.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Same.
this is the time to allow yourself to fail. That's what I would say to Rob.
Yeah. Rob, give it a shot.
Give it a shot, buddy.
Figure it out. Try to get away as much as you can too, to kind of just like allow yourself a new perspective.
I feel like Chris has pondered this
Chris, what do you got?
this moment in his life.
So the main thing I wrote down is you just need to kind of put yourself out there to do things that are like uncomfortable, and just like you need to get new life experiences, because so much of going to college is being in these weird situations you've never been in before, dealing with people that you don't want to deal with, and kind of like improving your people skills. So I think just kind of going out and doing things and kind of forcing yourself to meet new people will really help with that. And then you can kind of go through that like that. What else do I got here? I think also like how you are with your family kind of matters. I mean, everybody's situation's different. Like, how comfortable are you with them? So maybe depending on that, you want to leave sooner, you could stay home longer.
You're very excited to move out, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess you
That's
could
not a
say
mark
that.
against your family.
No,
though.
I mean, this was the first thing I told you that I wanted to like move out. I remember I was
Yeah.
like, that was the plan, and and it's taken a little longer than I'd like, but I'm excited, and everything happens for a reason. So we're almost there.
Chris is having a life
I
renaissance.
like Chris with the destiny talk.
He's just manifesting his destiny.
Yeah, I
Pretty
mean,
cool.
I wish I could have left earlier, but this like creative world is a lot different than having a normal job. So
It's really hard to
it was
monetize
Dude,
the
yeah.
creative world.
I'm really grateful being able to live home this long because so many people can't, and I'm excited to leave. So I'll leave it at that.
Cool.
Very nice. Good
Thanks,
words,
Chris.
Very good.
Love it. G,
Um,
what are your thoughts on the world?
Oh man, thoughts on the world.
Well, what do you got for us? You reaching for the phone?
I
Feel
was
like there's a
looking. I
good
was looking
email?
at something. I mean, yeah, we have a good email, but I thought of something. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
it's crazy to have like a full slate of activities again, of like parties and obligations, and of course comedy, and like the weekend is starting to feel like the old weekends used to feel,
Mhm.
and it's just interesting. You know, it's amazing how, and I think we talked about this during the kind of the height of the pandemic, but we sort of knew that the return to normal life would be bittersweet to a degree because there were things about that new lifestyle that were nice.
Mhm.
Sort of this like forced domestic existence,
Mhm.
you know? And it's interesting to kind of be getting used to the way things were.
I'm with you 100%. My girlfriend got promoted, and my life in going independent and launching the Patreon, sign up if you would, that'd be great, has meant that over the last 2 weeks, we have barely seen each other, even though technically we still work under the same roof.
Interesting.
And here's how crazy it is. We started this show on HBO called Mayor of Easttown.
How is it?
Sensational. It is absolutely sensational.
Oh, that's great. I gotta watch it.
Kate Winslet, man.
She's amazing.
What a career.
She's great.
What a talent.
Totally.
That woman can fucking act
she
in
crushes.
so many different ways too. You
She's
know?
really good.
She's amazing. So, is she British?
Yeah,
You wouldn't know it.
you wouldn't know it.
She plays a sort of down home, rural Pennsylvania police officer, detective in this show. She does the Philly kind of accent pretty darn well, too.
Dude, she's really solid.
Nobody. Home.
Whom?
Yeah. I don't even have it. Those are the only words I can do. Anyway, the point is, we started this show and we were gripped by it, right?
Mm.
There were 4 episodes that had come out that we had not when we started it. We watched the first 2 in a night, and that was a
I'm gonna
week
write it
ago,
down.
and I have been so excited to watch more of this show with my girlfriend, and we have not watched any more. There are 2 episodes waiting for us to watch, and there has not been an evening in a week where we could sit down and watch an hour of television together.
Dude, isn't
What
that
the fuck is that
is
about?
that is crazy. But it also reminds me how underrated having a show with your girl or boyfriend is.
Sure. I mean, dude,
Such a fun thing.
think about this. In quarantine, we watched the entirety of Breaking Bad in, I don't know, 3 weeks, 5 seasons,
Right,
6
right.
seasons, whatever the fuck it is. We have not been able to get through 4 episodes of Mayor of Easttown in
Yeah.
a
Dude,
week and a
it's crazy.
half.
Yeah, I watched the entirety of Game of Thrones in 2 or 3 weeks, which
Yeah.
is like a crazy.
Yeah, that's
Dude, I just had it on all day. I wasn't doing anything.
monumental.
It was, dude,
It's an accomplishment.
ask the people that I was staying with. I had it on my iPad the whole day. I was just walking around, like playing online poker on one screen and watching Game of Thrones on the other. Dude, what a crazy fucking time.
So, yeah,
But it's a good point, man.
it makes you also know that you need to find a way to make time for each other.
Yeah.
Date night's we're getting
Do
excited
you call
about
it that though? Are you like date night?
We do, ironically.
All right. Okay.
It's a subtle wink to ourselves.
We have date night. Yeah.
It helps you get more excited about it.
Yeah.
Because date night means, oh, let's get a little spiffed up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll spritz a little cologne.
Little cologne.
I don't like cologne.
You don't? I wear
Hate
all gender scent.
it. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like wearing it.
I don't
But
like
I typically don't get good feedback from it from my partners. One time a partner said, "Why do you smell like my grandma?" Hillary just goes, "What is that?" Because I don't wear it regularly enough. And she's funny. She gets really shook when I wear new stuff. If I wear things she's never seen, like I'll show up and I have new sneakers on, she goes, "What the fuck are those?"
What are those?
What the fuck are those? It's really funny. It's starting to become a thing where it happens less regularly since we live together. But still every once in a while, it's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a good email for us.
Please.
I'd be interested to hear.
Lay it
your
on me, pal.
thoughts. Okay, this is called Cancer, Paternal Mortality, and a Hail Mary.
Ooh, there's a title.
I know. Here we go.
Buckle up.
I need your advice. I'm 24 years old and have been with my now ex-boyfriend since we were 18. We are the same age. Around the beginning of COVID lockdown, he expressed to me a conviction that we must break up at some arbitrary point in the future due to us, quote, going down different paths. He had a desire to travel the world and live in a van. I had a desire to use my college degree and begin building my career. Feisty. Sassy.
Yeah.
Of course, my first impression was utter devastation. But as time progressed, I truly made peace with reality. I become hopeful and excited about the opportunity to, quote, be selfish and live my life for myself only. Cut to 2 months ago. I decided the time for us to finally break up was here, and I kicked him out of my apartment. I immediately enjoyed living alone more than sharing my apartment. As Francis says, sleeping alone has been the best sleep I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I missed my ex here and there, but was nonetheless compelled by a deep gut feeling that I was honoring myself to the highest degree by leaving that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, my ex's father passed away, and my ex was diagnosed with non-terminal cancer a few days later. He begs me to take him back, and when I refuse, he begs to keep me as a friend. I feel like a fucking monster because my heart has moved on. I feel guilty anytime I speak with him, quote, as friends, because I know he still loves me and I don't want to lead him on. I have absolutely no interest in manipulating him and get no pleasure from being the one with the power. Should I cut off all contact with him? What would you guys do? I'm not considering getting back together with him, but wonder how I should move forward. It feels like going through a divorce. The only kid we have together is a dog, thank God.
Oh, they have a dog together?
Yes.
That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Man, that's
a tough one, right?
Well, my initial answer was going to be yes, she should cut ties.
Yes.
I don't think that him becoming sick all of a sudden means that she has to abide by her empathy and let that make that have her go visit him and be some sort of like supportive force in his life.
Right.
Unless she wants to be.
Right.
It's up to her.
Right.
Because their relationship ended before he got sick.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't think that she is obligated to be that person in his life. The hospital visits and all of that. I hate to sound harsh, but
no, I agree.
That's just the way it is. I think about this stuff all the time, dude.
And dude, listen, it's hard enough to try to do the let's be friends thing when somebody still has feelings. I've done it most of the time, and it is an absolutely exhausting, brutal process. Eventually, maybe you get over the hump and you actually are just friends with them, but like at what cost, and that's under normal circumstances. So now to sort of be in a position where he has gotten dealt an unlucky hand in a couple ways. He needs someone. Like Francis said, you have to decide whether or not that's something that you can do. I mean, it sounds like he was the one who had proclaimed that you guys had no future together. Maybe the circumstances have changed now. It sounds like you have fully moved on. If he hasn't, and it's going to be one of those things that starts to become messy and confusing, and it starts to affect your life too, I mean, I don't know. I agree with Francis. It's up to you.
Yeah. The fact that he said to her, we are going to break up at some point in the future, the moment he said that, he is no longer entitled to your loyalty and your steadfast support. That should have been the end of the relationship. What the fuck? putting some random floating
I know.
end date on it.
Totally.
If anyone has heard that, stop.
It's over. Yeah.
Stop what you're doing. Leave.
Yeah.
That's just a nightmare. That's ridiculous. So he said that. Those were his words. He ended the relationship. He put the timer on it. Relationship ends. She did her part. She got over it. And then he gets sick and now he wants her back, of course.
Mm-hmm. Just doesn't really work that
I don't
way.
even think that going to visit him and being really sympathetic is a good thing, because that's just going to confuse him, because any guy is going to think that if you show up and are sweet and caring and like read a bedtime story or pat his head or whatever, damp cloth on his forehead, then that's confusing. He's going to men take tenderness as they believe that it is a sign that the person still has feelings for them.
Yeah.
Like their wires get crossed. It's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's impossible to say like, well, I'm sure she's just doing this because she's a good person. No.
Yeah. This is a good relationship talk in general. I think like when you break up with somebody, it is very important to take that space to sort of like reassess, figure shit out. And when you just are still talking to that person constantly, it doesn't allow you that time to do that. And it doesn't allow you to really move on, essentially. It's like not taking the step.
Yeah.
It's like pretending you're going to take the step and not doing it.
Well, speaking of sickness, I asked a pretty sick question of my girlfriend recently.
What was that?
Well, she came home with Kojai, and she asked me who I had missed more between her and Kojai. And I said, you is the answer. I missed you in different ways, but you, because I've looked after the dog when she went away, and then I've existed with her where the dog was away, and having her around was much better than having just the dog around as company. That's true.
Coach.
Sorry, Kojai. That's the case. But then I turned it on her and I said, okay, let's play a little Sophie's Choice here. I said, okay, some, burglar walks into the apartment with a pistol, and he's got the gun trained on both me and Kojai, and I've got my hands up and he's got his paws up. And the burglar says to you, you have to choose which one lives and which one dies. Who are you choosing?
Oh my God.
She would not answer.
Oh my God.
She wouldn't answer, which basically means Kojai lives. If you can't answer that I am the one you're saving, you're not willing to tell me that you're saving the dog.
Did this lead to any sort of like animosity?
No, we were
just let it
laughing
go?
about it. We were
That's
laughing
good.
about
That's
it.
good.
But I kind of held her feet to the fire. I kept pushing her. I was like, no, you have to answer. The guy has a gun. She's like, I'm not answering this. I can't even think about it. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I'm taking this as you saying you would save the dog. She's like, no.
Dude, that's great.
No.
The robber just shoots you. Kojai runs over, immediately starts humping his leg.
Guy just moves in, starts dating my girlfriend.
Oh my God. Hey, Kojai.
Nobody ever hears from me again.
Oh man, dude.
Tough way to go.
That's a tough way to go. Dude, I remember like there's a couple of dreams that have stayed with me from childhood. And one of them is about there was my mom and a witch who was pretending to be my mom. And I didn't know which one was really my mom. And I had to kill one. Like,
Oh my
no, I'm
God.
really your mother. No, I'm really your mother. And I killed my real mom.
Yeah, of course.
And then the witch emerged being like, ha 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 ha. And I woke up and I've never forgotten that dream.
Damn,
It's
dude.
a fucked up one, right?
Yikey.
I know. Dude, it's funny. Like, have you ever woken up and just written down your dream because you know you're going to forget it?
No,
I think I've done it at some point.
I don't think I've ever written it down. But
um,
there are dreams that I've remembered from childhood.
do you got any good ones?
I've had dreams. I've had recurring dreams. I've had the dreams of my teeth falling out,
Oh, yeah.
pulling the teeth out of my mouth.
I've had that too. I've had them shatter.
Oh, God.
I know. I've heard that that's about money. And that actually makes sense because the times where I was having those were times where I was stressed financially.
strange how that would manifest that
Yeah.
way. I'm quite stressed about money right now.
Talk to me.
Well,
Talk to Papa.
I just don't really know where to get it from. I've cut my spending almost to zero. I mean, my credit card bills this month and the last month are the lowest that they've been
Really?
since like the first months of quarantine.
Really? As a conscious choice, just kind of being like,
I don't have a choice. I don't have my income for right now. I have to figure out what it's going to be, how it's going to shake out.
Mhm.
Now that this is the first month that I will not be on salary with Bro Bible.
Mhm.
And so I'm on my own, and you know, I have a couple of things that I'm cobbling together, the Patreon, which I hope people will join, and thank you very much, as I said. Obviously revenue from the podcast, and then you know, you go out, you do stand up, you make $25 cash here and there.
Mhm.
That might as well just shove that up my pee hole. That shit, those $25 is gone in New York on the wind.
If you look to the left, it's gone.
It's gone. So anyway, I have cut my spending, but I don't really know where the next ship is going to come in from.
Mm. Are you thinking about going back on the road?
I have to.
Do you have any dates you want to plug?
I don't have the dates yet. I have 9 cities that are kind of
Figuring it out.
lining up.
That's great.
So stay tuned if you want to come see me perform. You know. But all of that is to say, dude, that I think about money constantly. It's constantly on my mind, and it's so just crippling and stress-inducing, and
It's a terrible thing.
it's the thing I think about when I'm going to bed, and it's the first thing I think about when I wake up.
Yeah, it's bad.
And I'm not even nervous. I'm just unsure.
Yeah. Yeah. But dude, listen, you know, you've made it this far.
That's what you said to
me.
me.
And a thing that, you know, once I hit a certain amount of time doing this, it's like the thing that sucks about it is you don't know where the next thing's going to come from, but it's going to come.
Buddy, you said that, and it gave me a lot of relief and peace, but it doesn't completely extinguish that little thought of
course.
What if it doesn't?
Of course not.
How long can I go
And dude, I'll tell you what, like
without making fucking money?
I have that thought every single time I smoke weed at some point. Chris is shaking his head because everybody's like, why do you continue to do it?
Yeah.
Because it's initially relaxing and then I start having terrible thoughts. That's why I really enjoy it for 25 minutes. And then I'm like, oh my God, my parents, I need to spend time with them and where I have no money.
I just don't know it. And I'm it makes it harder to celebrate the smaller successes that we have. Obviously the podcast is doing so well, but it's not at the point yet where it can pay my rent.
Mm-hmm.
And so, until it gets there, you know, I think of that as being a big milestone for me.
And honestly, that's like one of the things that we sort of talked about when Francis and I were initially meeting to kind of try to like figure out the ins and outs of how we were going to do the pod. And we were Francis was had the calculator pulled up, was running some numbers about how much money people make based on how much many downloads, blah, blah, blah. And we kind of came to this like vision of the day where it could cover our rent. How great of a day that would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know,
we're
getting there.
We're not terribly far away, but I don't know. I think we're far enough away where I need to have some other kind of income. I need to sell something. I need to figure out what I can sell.
Yeah, dude.
I sold a vest to a friend of mine. I'm starting to sell clothing that I own.
Francis Flea Market.
Yeah. I'm auctioning off pieces of my wardrobe.
Dude, your canvas hat is actually the perfect item to be wearing to have like a clothing stand.
It's not canvas. You did say that. It's beaver felt.
The beaver felt hat, wearing a vest with no shirt underneath. Fran's flea market.
Well, I sold the vest
You-
from our picture.
You're like, yeah, it's all local. They're like, where's it from? My apartment, dude.
Okay, enough moping from me. You know, I'm ready to let's get happy. Let's get excited.
Well,
Come
dude,
on.
listen, another thing that potentially you could be selling from your clothing stand are our favorite pair of pants
That's it.
and shorts.
Yep.
Bird dogs.
Bird dogs, baby.
What a wonderful item. It's really become a staple of what we do here at Oops the Podcast. They've been with us very early on, almost from our inception.
Mm-hmm.
And we really love the pants and we swear by them. And the summer months are coming. They're a wonderful pant.
Great pant.
Versatile for all temperatures and occasions.
But don't get it twisted. They make amazing shorts too. I would
They
say
do.
that that's their signature product.
And you can jump in the pool with them and hop right out and continue living your life.
They have a built-in underwear liner that does not ride up. It's the only built-in underwear liner, short or pant, where I've ever actually been able to say that for real.
Yeah.
The liner doesn't ride up. It doesn't feel like you're wearing really anything at all. And you just throw the pants on, the shorts on, and that's all you need, men. You're
Yeah.
good to go.
It's like shorts with built-in gold bond shorts.
Yeah.
You'll never have to powder up again if you rock these puppies.
I would highly suggest for all the women listeners that we have, we love you so much. If you're looking for a gift that will light up your man's life, buy him a pair of Bird Dog shorts for the summer. He'll be very happy.
Bird diggity dogs.
Use promo code OOPS. You will get an amazing gift with your first purchase. I don't even know what it is. It used to be the rubber sandals. I think they ran out of those. So it's going to be something else.
Yeah.
now.
It's just like, dude, a
Just
blinking question
surprise-
mark.
Yeah, it's going to be some kind of
The
surprise
mystery flavor.
thing. But the gift really is the Bird Dog shorts themselves, or the pants. So go to birddogs.com, promo code OOPS, and you'll get something. Cool.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, dude, another good email.
Please.
This is good because you have a really cute dog. So this is kind of like a funny thing.
Mhm.
This is a topic that you hear about, but you never actually hear about it for real. That's the one thing I'll say. Here we go. Hi, guys. This is not a current situation for me, but it happened to me in the past, and I'm curious about your take on this. My ex-boyfriend's brother posted pictures of himself with my dog on a dating app. He let women believe the dog was his and would ask then if he could borrow my dog for dates. I was upset about this. Having a dog implies that a person is responsible, or at least responsible enough to care for another living thing, which he was not. I did allow him to take the dog a couple times, but requested that he tell the date it was not his dog. Assuming you can't control the pictures people post on dating apps, would you allow someone to borrow your dog after using it in a picture?
Holy smokes.
I can't believe this guy is that much of a savage, dude.
That is pretty savage. Taking the dog on dates?
Like, how much more likely do you think you are to get dates because you're holding a dog, dude? Like, that's.
The answer, Giulio, is quite a bit more
Do
likely.
you really think so?
It's really bizarre, dude. I was living when I was single. I was living in Brooklyn Heights with this family that I'd been tutoring. I'm very close to them to this day. I think I've mentioned them before on the podcast. The son is one of the sons is a Navy pilot.
Sick.
The other just graduated from USC. The dad's one of my favorite people on earth. Great family. One week the whole family was gone in the summer, and they had just gotten this pit bull puppy. And so I was left to sort of dog sit, and it was just me and the dog and the whole place to myself. And I took the dog for a walk one night. I mean, this is the first night that they were gone, and I wasn't even half a block out of the house when this gorgeous girl stopped me. Immediately, like, was fawning over the dog, on the sidewalk, bent over, licks and all up in the grill. And then once she stood up, I didn't have to say anything. She was just like,
started making
who
out with
are
her.
you and how can I spend more time with the two of you? Basically, that's basically what it was.
So what ended up happening?
I was going, I finished the walk with the dog. I got her number, finished the walk with the dog. And then I was going out into the city that night, and she was like going to do something. And then like later that night, we met up back at her place, and
No way.
one thing led to another.
Are you serious?
And get this, I didn't even have to bring the dog. You know, at that point, I realized maybe she likes me for me. How about that?
Just goes to show. All you need to do is pose with the dog. You don't need to pretend it's yours.
Yeah.
Dude, good for you, man.
Yeah.
What a great tale.
So, yeah, right. No pun intended.
Yeah, seriously.
No, but I think it is something that it's such a joke. You know, it's a running joke, but I do think that dogs are a chick
Dogs get you
magnet.
laid.
They're also,
Period.
if I were to see a young single woman walking a puppy, a golden retriever puppy, I want to marry her.
Right. It's a good icebreaker. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
the hardest thing about meeting people in the wild is the icebreaker. Because if you just go up to somebody and are like, I think you're cute, it's just like a little bit uncomfortable. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
I've done it too. You have a specific good one you can think of?
I have one. Man, this was so many years ago. I was home in Maine. I don't know, maybe a summer between college for a week or two, and I went to this bakery, this really good bread bakery. What was it called? When Pigs Fly Bakery, I think is what it's called in Maine.
Okay.
Are
Are there more of those elsewhere?
They sell it. They sell it
Okay,
around
got it,
now.
got it.
It grew.
Syndicated.
Yeah, but you know, I go in, and sure enough, I mean, straight out of a French rom-com, there's this stunningly cute young woman, you know, with a little bit of flour on her cheek and an apron, and the whole place smells of fresh hot bread. And
Croissant.
yeah, she's got her hair up in a bun, and you know, she's just making bread.
It's fucking
I mean,
amazing.
what could be a better way to present yourself?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, the
literally.
stage was set.
You ever see that movie Chocolat?
That's exactly what
It
I was
sounds-
thinking.
it sounds like that.
Chocolat. Yeah. You said it right. I didn't need to say it again. And I walk in and I see this girl, and I like get my bread from her, and I'm like, you know, I'm a little tongue tied, but I'm thinking that it's coming off in a charming way. And I leave, and I walk out, and I go put my bread in the car, and I sit in the car for a minute, and I'm like, you know what, dude, fuck that.
Oh, baby.
And I walk back in, and I said to her, you know, I think you're really pretty, and I'd love to go out with you sometime. And she goes, you're so sweet. I just got engaged.
Mm.
And she like showed me the ring, but
There was flour on the ring,
I was
so you
like,
didn't
yeah,
notice.
I know. I mean, maybe she wasn't wearing the ring, because I feel like I would have looked for that.
Right.
But I said, no problem. You know, great to meet you. And I walked out. Now, fast forward a couple of years, right? I came up to Maine with a girlfriend at the time, and I went shopping in Portland with her to this place that sold like you know, raincoats, and you ever see those like menswear stores that sell like hatchets, belts,
Yeah.
jeans, and then like, I don't know, fucking barber coats.
Yeah. Sort of like,
Just all different brands of stuff. Filson shirts.
yeah. Yes.
Those kinds of places. And that they've got some funky name like the Hatchery, or
right.
I don't even know what the fuck it would be. Anyway, she worked at one of the, I bring my girlfriend in, we're looking around, and I see the girl from the bakery, and now she works at this clothing store. And I was like, do we know we know each other, right? You used to work. She was like, I did. Yeah. And she was so warm to me. And then she saw me with my girlfriend,
Mm.
and a sheet of darkness came over her face.
Really?
And I don't know if she was now separated from
Oh,
her
then
fiance or whatever, or still married. I didn't ask. And then was maybe thinking like, oh my God, I was hoping I might run into this guy again.
Oh, no.
Or if she just was like annoyed that I was now with a girl or if I just imagined the whole
Right.
fucking thing, which is entirely possible. But I like to
Dude,
think
it's
that
possible. Her one
she
day,
was put off by the fact that I was no longer pining for her.
totally. But like, dude, she comes home one day and her fiance's like, "Listen, you come home smelling like dough every night," and it just made her like you even more, dude, because you saw her in her element.
I sure
and you
did.
Still loved her for who she was.
I did. I didn't mind all that dough that was in her fingernails.
Dude, it's so fucked up how those things work. I really I shout out to everybody out there listening who's willing to go up and put yourself out there. Give it a shot. I recommend you try it this summer.
Yeah.
You know, as the masks start to become a thing that are slowly rolled back and we can see each other again, or even if we can't, give it a shot. Go up to somebody. Nothing like the worst that can happen is you make someone's day by giving them a compliment. No one's going to be mad at you for asking them out.
Everyone doesn't do it because they fear rejection, right? But let's put it this way. If you go about it in a nice way with a smile on your face and you're not a weirdo and a creep, you're not saying something sexual or aggressive, they're just going to say at worst, like, no, no thanks, or like, no, not interested, whatever. They're not going to rip you apart and say something to you that just ruins your week.
Totally.
They're not going to be like, listen, I would never go out with you. Look at you. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, how dare you?
They're not going to say that.
Yeah, just don't whistle.
Yeah. So being told like, not really, no, I'm not going out with you. Why does that matter?
And
like,
honestly,
why does that matter?
Dude,
why does
no
that
one's
hurt?
going to do it like that. No one's even going to just say no. They're going to make up that they have a boyfriend at the very least. They're going to say, "You're so sweet,"
Most
or,
people will.
or a girlfriend, or whatever.
You could face a, I'm not interested, or no,
Right.
I'm not. No thanks.
You could.
You could find that, but I don't think. Chances are it's not going to be that worst nightmare situation where they're like, these are the reasons why I won't go out with you. Total stranger.
Yeah.
One, you're clearly dumb. Your breath smells.
To
whatever.
look at you. Look at yourself in the mirror.
That they're not going to say that. So anyone who's fearful of this should know that you've built that fear up in your head, and it's better to try.
Totally.
Wouldn't you? I sleep better at night from rejection.
Right. No, dude, you got to try.
The peace of knowing that at least I had an answer.
And it's fun that way. Like something interesting is going to happen that day, and you're never going to forget it.
Do you know
That's fun.
Do you know that I asked out one of those Sports Illustrated swimsuit models?
Did you DM her?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Well, it was the first week that I was at Barstool, and these three Sports Illustrated swimsuit models came in. One of them was this girl, Danielle Harrington, who I think she was like a rookie in that campaign that year.
Got it.
Now, I'm not like a big model chaser or anything like that, but I did a segment with these three women. They were stunning. Lais Ribeiro was one of them. And then Danielle Harrington, and then this other one. And three of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen, right? And I did this 20-minute interview with them where we're just like joking. It was very free-flowing. And this one girl, Danielle Harrington, she was laughing a little harder than the other two were at my jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point she laughed, and then she touched my knee.
Okay.
And I was like,
initiating physical
what
contact.
the fuck is going on here? Hello. I am sensing something. A little chemistry, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So then after the segment ended, I went up to one of the other girls and I was talking to her and I said, do you know if your friend Danielle is single? She goes, I don't know. I think so, but I can find out. Why? And I was like, I don't know. I thought we were kind of like vibing a little, and I'd love to, get her number if she were willing, and like maybe we could go out for a drink or something like that. She was like, okay, I'll find out for you. So then this girl starts acting as like what I thought was matchmaker,
Mhm.
right? But fast forward a couple nights, that girl that I had asked about to get the info DMs me.
Oh, wow.
And she goes, I talked to Danielle. She's single. She really wants you to message her.
Nice.
You should send her like a bunch of messages to show her how much you like her. Talk about yourself a lot.
Weird.
And I'm like, all right, clearly she's fucking with me.
Well, she was just joking?
She was trolling me.
Why?
The reason was, I think that
That's so
she
weird.
was with my boss, Dave. They were down in Houston at this pre-Super Bowl
and he
party.
was like fucking with you.
No, they had mentioned to him that I had like asked if that girl was single, and Dave was like, "What? Why would he do that?" And then Dave was like, no, don't give him the time of day, I think. And then they started sort of just like together concocting this thing back. But before I had caught the scent of it, I did fire off a DM to Danielle. In our interview, she had said that she likes to stay in shape by doing these boxing classes. So the message that I sent was, hey, it was great working with you the other day. When you're back in New York, let's go boxing sometime.
Mm-hmm.
That was all I said. And she like read it and didn't respond. And then clearly the whole thing fell to pieces.
Jesus.
And I'm not saying that I ever would have had a shot in hell,
You might have.
but at least I knew. At least I tried.
Dude, you did nothing wrong
At
there.
least I tried. I'd rather be told no than wonder, even if it's a 0.00001% chance. Getting rejected by the top 16 law schools. At least I know.
Mm-hmm. Dude, totally. And dude, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's just fun, man. I have a good one. One time I'm walking across
It is fun.
the street. I happen to catch this girl in my periphery. I turn back and look at her, continue looking forward. Look again, and now she's looking at me.
Hype.
And then I turn away. I turn again, and she's still looking at me, and I'm looking back. And then she walks into a grocery store. And I was like, fuck it. I go in the grocery store and start trying to find her in the grocery store.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I end up finding her in the first aisle. I'll never forget I'm picturing the store layout of this Morton Williams, which is a grocery store chain here.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm following a girl into a Morton Williams.
I followed her in.
Whole Foods for me.
There's no Whole Foods in this area.
Yeah, Morton Williams, though. That says a lot about her.
Dude, it was connected to a very nice apartment building.
Fine,
Okay,
fine,
if you
okay.
want to be
Touche.
snobby
Is
here.
this in the West Village?
No, it's Upper East Side.
Okay.
And I go in and I ask for her number, and she kind of acted weird to me. It was weird. It was a little.
Is that
awkward.
what you fired off? You started with that?
Yeah, I literally went up to her and I was like, "Hey, like, I couldn't help but notice you. Like, if you want to give me your number, I'd love to hang out sometime." She goes, "Okay." So she gives me her number.
Huh.
So then we start texting back and forth, and this girl's from Israel, and she came in very hot, being like, "I will never date somebody who isn't Jewish."
Okay.
And she's like, "But I'd be down to be friends." She's like, "Also, you are comedian. That is not right person for me."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, you're insanely direct. Like this is almost
Yeah.
stereotypical
And also,
how they say
you
Israeli chicks are."
You omit articles from your sentences.
Yeah, which was fine. But dude, so anyway, this girl was like, she was kind of fancy too. She had mentioned she like had an apartment in Brussels and Tel Aviv, and she had this apartment here, or whatever. I was like, okay, whatever. So dude, then this is pretty funny. So she basically rejects me. So I'm like, okay. But then for the next few weeks, every once in a while, she would text me really late at night and be like, "What are you doing?" And like,
Hype.
I happen to be asleep, or like nothing ever ended up happening because I happened to miss those messages. But then one day I called her out on it, and I was like, "If you don't want to date a person who isn't Jewish, like, why do you keep texting me late at night?" She goes, "Can you not read between line?"
Oh.
I was like, Jesus Christ. And then she essentially, what ended up being conveyed was that she was willing to, mess around, but never to date me. I could be her dirty little secret.
And you never did.
Never did it, but one night she happened to be in the crowd of one of my shows, dude.
Oh my God.
And then that kind of like reignited the interest, and then it just sort of never happened.
Oh,
And
there's
she-
nothing worse than just not lining up.
I know.
Ships passing in the night. That is really brutal.
But dude, how fun is that fucking story?
That is a fun one.
It's fun. It's
Dude,
fun.
the grocery store Connect
It's
is
a tough one.
It's a tough one to pull
It's
off.
tough.
But boy, oh boy, when you land it, it is. Ooh, you get excited about that
You get
first
excited.
date.
Just don't overthink it. Who
Yeah.
cares if it's fucking weird? Walk right up to her and just be like, "I want to go out with you." You don't have to say anything coy or
Yeah,
or
she's not
cheesy
the
or-
mayor, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
She's not going to bar you from riding subways or something like that. There's no, as long as you're not a creep and you're not a weirdo, there's nothing wrong with saying, like, "Hey, I'd love to go out with you sometime." And if, you got to kind of know your time and place too, I think. But
I mean, dude, what's she gonna say? She goes, "Oh, is this how you pick up girls in grocery stores? Just say yes and then stare at her."
yeah, bingo. Perfect strategy. I love it, dude.
Dude, awesome, man.
Very good stuff.
Well, go hit on somebody in public this summer.
I got one last one for you because it's a little similar to what you just said.
Let's hear it.
I was in Whole Foods and I saw a very attractive young woman, and we were in the checkout line. She was like 5 people ahead of me. And so she goes to the cashier, first, and I'm way behind her, and I've got a bunch of groceries, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I might have to abandon my groceries in order to get the chance to ask this girl out. And I had been kind of like following her through the grocery store enough that I now my heart was racing.
Yeah.
I wasn't like watching her. We just I kept sort of seeing her, but she was not giving me look backs the way that you were receiving. There wasn't anything for me to go on other than, by the grace
Raw
of God,
attraction.
let this happen.
Yeah.
Let it happen. And so she pays, and I got her out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, come on, fucking Roy, hurry up, scan my items, let's go. And he's like weighing the broccolini and shit. I'm
Punching
like,
in the code.
Damn it, you know how much that costs. Just charge me whatever, man. And he bags it, and then I gather my things and I walk out, and my thought is that she's probably, a block away, and I'm gonna have to like chase her down with groceries in my hands, and then this is gonna look desperate. But to my surprise, she's standing right outside the automatic doors of the Whole Foods, like looking around, kind of getting her bearings and maybe looking at her phone. And I see her there, she had just grabbed her own like lunch from Whole Foods. That was it. And I'm like, okay, the fact that she's here, now I don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I start talking to her, and I got around to like, I think I just straight up asked her out. She was Australian. She was in town for 48 hours.
Oh, gee, what?
From Australia.
Jesus.
And she had just arrived. She was exhausted. She was doing some kind of like event for a new hotel, the Roxy Hotel.
Okay.
And I got a dinner reservation at a place called Craft. I took her out. We had a great dinner. I walked her around a park, gave her the old smoocheroon.
Oh.
And then she jetted off to Australia again. And we tried WhatsApping and maybe FaceTiming a couple times for about a week. And then that was the end of that. We were a world apart. It was never going to happen.
What a nice time.
But those are the memes, dude.
That's it, baby.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well done, man. So yeah, once again, everybody go out there and get, hit on somebody in a way that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself is the theme of the episode.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. And Francis, what do you got to tell them?
Well, those are all the the pieces of life that sort of build to finding the person who conquers all,
Yeah, there you go.
And I think we're there. So that is all to say we honor our girlfriends.
That's what I mean. Those are the people of honor.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot beyond that. We wish everyone the best of luck in their lust and their longing and their endeavors to win people over, to woo, to court.
Woo it up.
It is a terrifying prospect, but not when you really consider how low the stakes are of rejection. Send us emails, send us thoughts, send us efforts in grocery stores, and to oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Check out my Patreon, Francis Ellis, for alternate side parking, my writing, and a weekly song. Check out Pack Light from Giulio, and stay tuned for any of his upcoming travel exploits. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere else you like to look at stuff. We're Oops the Podcast. We love you, and we'll see you soon.